Hello guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of Aberration for Half-Life 2 episode 2, the mod by HoliestCow, which was released a couple of days ago. Now in part 1 we just finished taking out some Combine and opening the garage door behind me there. So we're going to continue now. So this second part of the mod, the Combine start getting much more intense, the firefights. I think this is a good example of it. It would have been really nice if there was a way for the Combine to come all the way around and attack you from behind as well. I mean, generally, most of the time when you fight Combine, it's usually in like a corridor or a couple of corridors, and they don't really get much choice in where they go. Like the AI can kind of go towards you or back away from you. There's no real kind of flanking routes or anything like that. Which is a bit of a shame, but for the most part the combat with the Combine is the strongest part of this mod, I think. It's pretty good in most places. And now we enter this area. It's fairly impressive looking, but I still think that it's just too dark. Although the attention to detail here and the brushwork and everything's really nice. I did feel like a couple of the areas felt like they were copy and pasted slightly. Like especially some of the details and like these doors on the wall, they're kind of on every single level as you go down. Just felt like they were copy and pasted across each other. I don't know if that's the case or not, but that's what it felt like. So I like the way you can kind of survey the environment here and kind of look around as you progress forwards. Although as you'll see here in a moment, there's another one of these kind of dark areas which hide a critical path. So you notice here there's actually a ladder against that wall there, and I completely missed it. Then I spent about 10 minutes looking around here for a way to progress, so we'll just skip past all that because it's boring as hell. Yeah, I just spent a long time just walking around here trying to find out where to go. I think a lot of these kind of annoying sections can just be avoided by just having a bright light above the critical path ladder, things like that. I mean, you know, I say this a lot as well, players are attracted towards bright lights in maps. With the lighting being quite dark and ones like this, it would have been really easy for the author to just add a kind of a bright warm light above the ladder to highlight it. So you'll notice here, as I turn around, I see the ladder here. I'm just like, oh! Okay, here we are. It would have been nice to just have like a kind of really warm kind of orange-yellow spotlight above the ladder there to really highlight it in the environment. So as it is, it's just way too easy to miss. So we'll continue. And he adds a grenade puzzle here. I think this kind of works. I started out shooting it. When that didn't work, I noticed a slit in the wall here, and then I kind of, you know, saw the grenade, the infinite grenade bin behind me, and it kind of twigged like, aha, yeah, let's put a grenade in there. I think it kind of works because, you know, you're used to doing that in Half-Life 2. Was it episode 2 where you had to throw the grenades into the slits to turn off the devices? Oh, I can't remember. But yeah, that was fairly intuitive, I felt. I'm going to take out these Combine. Unfortunately, I did mention earlier that it felt like slightly copy and pasted, and unfortunately there's another puzzle involving putting a grenade into a slit like that, but it's essentially exactly the same as what I've just done, so I'm just going to skip past it. I mean, even the kind of layout of the area is kind of the same. So again, it spawns some more Combine when you turn off the second force field. So that's where we are now. Just killed that Combine and we're going to carry on. Now, generally I like the way that you're kind of in this one area and you're kind of slowly working out a way to get down to the bottom. I just feel like the travelling from top to bottom could have been done a lot better. Like I think there's some opportunity there for using different puzzles in the environment. Like as it is, there's basically two puzzles which are exactly the same in order to progress. Would have been nice to see some variation and perhaps some more exploration around the sides to find different routes down. That would have been cool. And kind of the focal point of this entire area is this kind of lift shaft here. But as you activate the button there, it actually activates the lift and it starts moving down really slowly. And that kind of reminds me of the area in episode 1 where you're waiting for the lift with Alex and trying to hold off a horde of zombies. In this case it's a horde of Combine, but when you activate the lift with that button, I wasn't actually sure what it had activated. There's no real like sound or visual cue to kind of tell you what you've activated. So I was just kind of running around and fighting, and I wasn't really sure what I was meant to be doing. I just figured like something would open when all these enemies were dead. So I'm doing this is my first attempt, and it's going okay, but I end up getting cornered here. And this fight is extremely brutal if you don't manage to take out a lot of the Combine really quickly. It gets extremely hard. And on my final attempt I managed to take out a bunch of Combine with a grenade at the start. Wasn't so lucky on my first attempt. So my second attempt doesn't quite go as well. And you'll notice when you die, thrown back right to the start of the level again. Not a fan of that. So let's skip forward to the fight. So it goes slightly better at the start. I managed to take out a hunter, but then I just get overwhelmed by Combine again. So this is my third or fourth attempt, I can't remember. But I managed to get a couple of really nice grenades right into the centre of all the Combine as they run out of the door in the beginning. And that makes the fight so much easier. I've just got these hunters to worry about now, which makes things a lot easier. But yeah, going back to the lift, because there's no kind of audio or visual cue to kind of tell you what's going on when you activate that button, I wasn't really sure what to do now, so just kind of wandering around. I was expecting like the Combine force fields to drop and you'd be able to go down there, but it just seems to keep on spawning more Combine at you until the lift gets to the bottom. So I was just kind of waiting around for more to spawn. Thought I'd chuck an explosive barrel there preemptively, but it turns out the Combine come from the side this time. Best laid plan is just completely annihilated. I mean, well, what I do like about this area is that depending on how you play it, you feel like you can get pushed back to the lift quite nicely. Like the Combine come out of these doors here, and you do feel like you have to kind of retreat down to the back of the arena, which I do like. I mean, I'm not sure if that's intentional or whether it just kind of works out that way, but it's really nice. Like, you don't get that feeling much in maps where you feel like you're being pushed back and back and back, and normally it can feel very artificial, but here it actually works quite nicely. It might be because there's just so much cover back by the lift there, you feel like it's a more defensible position, but it's interesting nonetheless. But yeah, again, like I just think this area is slightly too dark. It's quite hard to see the Combine most of the time. You're kind of looking for their kind of glowing eyes. You can't actually see much else. And unfortunately, there's a section here where you end up just taking pot shots at tiny little silhouettes up above you. So we're just going to skip past all that because it goes on for about 5 minutes of me trying to snipe these enemies with the SMG. Doesn't work too well. So eventually I noticed that the lift is down, so we activate it, and it's another Ramiro lift, guys. So we'll just skip past that. The level transitions when you reach the top anyway, so we're not missing anything there. Alright. So we're going into another kind of horror part of the map here. Chapter 2. And I think this is my favourite part of the kind of horror sections. Really, really nice. This area in particular I love, especially like the little arch here. I don't know why, it just adds so much to this area. The little arches there. And there's lots of nice little ambient cues. And that was brilliant. The timing on that, like the sound and then the little bit of damage you take was brilliant. I thought I was under attack and I just freaked out completely. I wish that there was more little things like that. That was just a stroke of brilliance here in that area. I loved it. Even just watching it now, it just brings a smile to my face seeing that. It's so expertly done. I mean, things like that are so easy to mess up if you get the timings wrong, or you pick the wrong sound, or you do too much damage, or you know, something like that. With that, I mean, as far as I can tell, it only did like a couple of points of damage, but it's just the shock value of, holy hell, something just hit me and there's nothing there, and you just freak out. It's great. But again, even though this area looks so nice, it still falls into the same trap of before. Like, there's only really one way to go and there's nothing in these side areas. Now things start getting a little bit freakier. And it's presented really well, but it's never really elaborated on. So you kind of always end up wondering what the hell's going on, you know. But yeah, the presentation is great. Carry on here. I don't know, I always feel the need to jump off stairs when I walk down them. Like, I always feel like something awful is going to happen. So I always kind of take the most convoluted route possible, just to try and avoid it. It never usually works, but it's worth a shot. Yeah, again, more ambience. And again, it's a shame there's not just a simple puzzle here. I mean, it may be a locked door there with another key you had to find, which kind of give you a reason to explore all these side rooms, but as it stands, there's just absolutely nothing here. I mean, I suppose you can make the argument that it just makes the area feel more abandoned and kind of desolate, which I guess is a fair statement, but for me, it just didn't work for me at the end of the day. I mean, maybe other people feel differently. Let me know what you thought, guys. Leave a comment or something. But for me, I just felt like it was lacking. It didn't really grab me enough to make me appreciate all these side areas. Again, the attention to detail in these maps is great. Although I do feel like sometimes they're a little flat in terms of z-axis. Like, there's never really a lot of multi-leveled areas. There's not really a lot of looking down or looking up to other areas and things like that. It all tends to be on one level, almost like a Doom map. I mean, I like the light here. I wish there was more of this. Like, this vent here is the critical path, and it's lit up by a, you know, unique coloured light, which works really well. It draws the player's attention to it, and it's just a shame that the author didn't do that for all the kind of obscure hidden paths in the map. It works really well there. Another nice little trick there. Just make sure he's dead. Ah, now this area annoyed the hell out of me. It's just basically a pitch black room. And you're not really given much insight into what's actually happening here. Now, for this section of the video, I've upped the gamma to extreme levels, so you can kind of see what's going on here. Just be wary that in the game it's basically pitch black, even with your flashlight on. So you can kind of see a door here, some walls, but because it's so dark, it just kind of feeling around in the darkness, and it's just, I just found it incredibly frustrating. I mean, maybe some people again like this kind of thing, but for me, I just like, it was just confusing. I didn't know what was going on, and you're left in here for so long. I felt like I'd just missed something, like a trigger, or I was meant to find a button or something to proceed. I didn't really understand what was happening. I was in here for a good five 5, 6, 7 minutes. I mean, I've cut a lot of it out for you guys on the video. I've just transitioned there because it wouldn't be fun to just watch this for sort of 5, 6 minutes. You notice that you look up and then it transitions, so I wonder if that's the trigger to get out of that room. I don't know. But yeah, it was just weird. Wasn't really communicated at all what that room was about. I wonder if you never look up whether you're just stuck in there forever. I wonder if some people quit in frustration at that. I mean, getting the player to look at something specific in a game is really, really hard. I mean, you notice that even Valve talk about this a lot in their games. So, like, if you watch the developer commentary, it's like getting the player to look at something is extremely hard, and it's something we struggle with all the time. It's kind of really interesting, and then to have like a critical path thing kind of tied to getting the player looking at something, it's just, I imagine that's just a recipe for frustration for a lot of people. You don't look at the exact thing the mapper wants you to and you end up just stuck. And it's not particularly obvious as well. Like, you must look at this. It's not like it's standing out from the environment or anything, it's just kind of hidden up there. So yeah, interesting, but I wasn't a fan. This cave area here, to talk about the area we're in at the moment, this cave here is absolutely beautiful. It's exceptionally well crafted. I just think that the lighting kind of destroys it in a way, because you just can't see half the detail here. There's kind of little pockets of lights, like the antlion grubs on the walls kind of highlight it a bit, and there's this huge spotlight kind of creating these really awesome shadows in the environment, but for the most part it's pitch black. You can't see any of the lovely detail that's in this area. It's a real shame. I just think like a kind of dim area light which kind of illuminates all the surroundings would have been really nice here. Yeah, I mean, as it stands, this area is kind of a gameplay area. Again, it's kind of like an exploration area. I mean, it's done slightly better than kind of the room after room of before, because you do feel like you're exploring a bit here. It's almost like I call it like the climbing frame effect. Like, you know, everyone when they were kids, they would run into the play park and there'd be all these kind of cool climbing frames, and you'd love to kind of explore all around them and see what's there. And there's lots of little cubby holes and routes, and it's just really fun to explore. I almost think that like game design is kind of like exploration in games is kind of the same kind of concept. Just present something really, really cool to the player that they want to explore and find all these little nooks and crannies and cubby holes and find all these cool vistas that you can look out from. And this cave area kind of reminds me of that in a way, and I just think there should have been more areas to explore here. But as it stands, it was kind of cool. I just felt like maybe a small puzzle or something, maybe like a generator puzzle to get some power going, to like open up a route or something. But yeah, that's the end of the mod here, or should I say the end of part 1 of the mod. On his ModDB page, he mentioned that there will be a part 2 at some point in the future. Wasn't any more specific than that. Now, I noticed Miga was in the credits here, and that didn't surprise me at all. The looks of this mod did have a very Miga style feel, like the lighting and the kind of crazy amounts of detail all over the walls and everything, and all the props everywhere. It did remind me of kind of Miga maps a lot. I wonder if his maps was kind of an inspiration to this author. Be interesting to find out. The two styles are very similar. So it's got kind of a cool exit here.
Hell yeah!
So yeah, that was Aberration. It's kind of interesting mod. There's a lot of things I didn't like. I mean, it probably sounded like I was really negative throughout this entire playthrough, and the mod certainly isn't bad. It just had a lot of things that annoyed me. Like, most of the combat is really fun. It looks gorgeous. And I'd recommend you guys play it, definitely. I had a lot of fun with it. There's just some things which really dragged it down, in my opinion. Like, the autosaves was the biggest thing for me. Oh, that just drove me mad. I hate not having autosaves in games. because I'm not really a quick saver. I don't run around hitting F5 all the time. I don't like making manual saves because it removes me out of the game and the atmosphere. So autosaves are critically important for a player like me, and when they're missing, it just kind of destroys the level, which is a big shame. And again, some of the issues like the critical path being completely hidden. But yeah, the combat was great, the visuals were great, so yeah, check it out guys, and let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.